Dragon's Lair was a game that was released for arcades in the 80s. It's considered to be the grandfather of QuickTime events that is still around in some games today. One of its novelties was the FMV cartoons powered by the best of all mediums, the Laserdisc! It was animated by none other than Don Bluth, and man, does it have some of that cartoon style of the 20th century. It has that silliness that all cartoons back then had. It's the charm that modern cartoons just don't have. The cabinet features the CRT monitor, joystick, 2 sword buttons on each side of the cabinet, 2 buttons to select 1 or 2 players, provided you have the cash to choose such a feature, speakers to play back the audio, and to beep at you whenever something happens, and LCD displays that tell you the amount of credits you have left, your lives, and your score. But why score? For games like Pac-Man and Pinball, you try to aim for a high score. But for a game like Dragon's Lair, the main goal that you set for yourself is to finish the game. Scores are meaningless because you're always looking down at the screen and back up to see how many lives you got, not your score. With that out of the way, let's get on with the review. The plot is your average plot of any adventure video game. You play as Dirk the Daring and you need to save a princess. You face obstacles that you need to overcome to get to the dragon's lair and save her. It's not that hard to understand. The controls are super simplistic. You push a direction on the joystick to move Dirk and press a button to use the sword. You have to react at just the right time, otherwise you die. Sometimes you die by pressing the wrong button. You have a really short window of time. You might miss it if you blink. As I mentioned before, the cabinet has a sword button on each side of the cabinet, so lefties rejoice! The difficulty can differ depending on the settings the arcade owner sets it to. It can either be easy, so you have 5 lives and 2 coins per credit, or it can be 3 coins per credit and very hard. You only have 3 lives, and you need to insert 3 coins for 1 credit so he can steal your precious money. Now you might be saying, wait, what? 2 coins per credit? No! This is something that I will never understand. Whatever happened to 1 coin per credit? Were the creators just so proud of their work that they had to set a higher than normal premium so the customer can enjoy? It's to steal the person's quarters, isn't it? Anyway, back to gameplay. Different rooms have different combinations of buttons to press, as expected. Some are easy to master, others are not. And it's not the same order of rooms either. The game randomizes the order of the rooms to freshen up the gameplay a little bit, which I like. It gives this game a bit of variety. You got a lot of rooms to deal with that the machine could gobble up your quarters in the blink of an eye. You got rooms where you just have to wait for the right time to press the button, or rooms in which you have to press buttons in a certain sequence. Sometimes the rooms will show a pulse to give you a hint as to what button to press. Take this scene for example. In the first part, it doesn't give you any hints on what to press. Later, the tools pulse, then the door, stairs, and table. Most of the time, logic will be the answer. For example, if I get myself stuck in this situation where there's a blockage on the left, a wall ahead of me, and an open space on the right, where do I go from here? See, that's the kind of thinking you'll need to do. Within 0.01 seconds or less. Now, what if you don't want to give yourself too much pain? Well, there's always the 2-player mode, but it's not really worth playing because it's just like the Super Mario Bros. 2-player mode. It's just a turn-based multiplayer mode. If you can't find the machine anywhere, you could just get the 20th anniversary box set by Digital Leisure, but if you really want to get a somewhat genuine experience, then emulation is your option. If you have the Laserdisc and a compatible player or the aforementioned 20th anniversary box set. Daphne is practically the only option to play Laserdisc arcade games, but as mentioned before, you need to have a disc to run the game. Of course, you can always resort to the home port if that's your thing. There are copies on the PS3, Steam, and the Xbox 360 with Kinect. If you do decide to play Dragon's Lair at home, I recommend using an arcade stick. You can get by in the least amount of time, and it feels definite when you press buttons because of micro switches. I use the Daphne emulator along with a Hori Fighting Stick VX for the Xbox 360. It works pretty well, but I need to press LB and RB to insert coins and start the game, respectively. But do I recommend seeking out the machine? Yes, and that's mostly because of the silly cartoon style that was common in the 20th century. I would still recommend it if you want some form of challenge. For those of you that say the gameplay is repetitive, while I do agree with you, we all have to keep in mind that this is an arcade game meant for short bursts. With that said, if you do want to waste your quarters on a quick time event game, I say go right ahead. Just make sure that you know the rooms first. So yes, I do kind of recommend seeking out the home ports as well, but if you're ready for the real challenge, grab some quarters, head out the door, and seek out the arcade machine. Because I'm telling you right now, Laserdiscs, they're the future. Or are they? Want to see more Narigor? Click on the button in the top right corner to see the following. I make Google Cardboard with Toxic Hippo. Click on the card to see it. This is my submission for Mumbo Jumbo's Redstone Killing Machine competition. Click on that card to see it. Now, if you really want to see more, why don't you go ahead and click subscribe? There's plenty more where that came from. Thanks for watching.